I just hit live on YouTube and off we go.
Clouds move over Pontiac skies. Their silent thunder matches mine. I know this feeling from long ago. I wondered, was it gone? But now I know. When she calls, don't send her my way. When it hurts, you'll know it's the right thing. Michigan's in the rear view now. Keep your hands where I could see them. You took the words right out my mouth when you knew that I would need them. What am I supposed to do now without you? Without you. It's unannounced, like you'd expected. Mom broke down brake lines and Motown records, and all that's left but you know what's coming and you regret it. So when she calls, don't send her my way. When it hurts most, it's the
Good morning, and welcome to the Thomas L. Hill Iowa State Conference.
And I am a 2021 ISCORE ISCORE Student Scholar. We would like to start today's event by acknowledging the land on which Iowa State University resides. Iowa State University aspires to be the best land-grant institution at creating a welcoming and inclusive environment where diverse individuals can succeed and thrive. As a land-grant institution, we are committed to the caretaking of this land and would like to begin this event by recognizing those who have taken care of this land before us. Before this land became Iowa State University, it was the ancestral lands and territories of the Bakotse or Iowa Nation. The United States obtained this land from the Meskwaki and Sauk nations in the Treaty of 1842. We would like to recognize our obligations to this land, the people who have taken care of it before us, and to the 17,000 Native people living in Iowa today.
Hello, my name is Japana Kellogg, and I provide leadership for the ISCORE ISCORE office. It brings me great joy to provide the opening remarks for this year's conference. I like to use 3 words: progress, opportunity, and wow. I've been with the project from the beginning, way back in 1999, when I first met that first group of faculty, staff, and students down in Memphis, Tennessee, at the National Conference on Race and Ethnicity. At that time, I wasn't a member of the Iowa State community, and honestly, I can't tell you that I was trying to become a member. I'm originally from Galveston, Texas, and the only thing I knew about Iowa and Iowa State is when I would drive from Minnesota that we drove right past it. The thing I do remember is how well the students were prepared who attended the national conference, how many people Iowa State supported attending the national conference, and more importantly, what you plan to do with the information once you return to your campus. And the product was ISCORE. I'd like to recap a couple points. When I think about 2020, this past year, I can only say, wow. I feel each of us could fill in the blanks in regard to how the political climate, the social unrest, and the social isolation due to the pandemic has impacted us. It really feels like a Netflix movie. Did I say way back in 1999? As a younger man, when someone older would start a conversation with way back when, it gave me permission to turn off my ears. After ISCORE last spring, we continued to meet with our ISCORE scholars to provide them a sense of community and to gain insight on how COVID was impacting them. I remember telling them that one day they will tell their story about the college experience and the pandemic to a group of young people, and those young people won't be quite as interested as they are in telling their story. I really look forward to the day that we can put this pandemic behind us. When I look at the project, as I said, I see progress and opportunity. And it's probably because of my time spent with the project and my commitment. I hope that you can see this project and Iowa State for its progress and opportunity. And if you can't see the progress, you must be looking at the opportunity to help with the progress. This project has become a vital platform for Iowa State to develop on its journey. And I want to thank you for your commitment. At this time, I would like your help in welcoming our newest member to the Iowa State community, Senior Vice President, Dr. Toya Younger. You must be stage. Thank you. The opportunity to help with the progress. This project has become a vital platform.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us for the 2021 Thomas L. Hill Iowa State Conference on Race and Ethnicity, Faculty and Staff Pre-Conference. My name is Dr. Toya Younger, and I serve as a Senior Vice President for Students here at Iowa State University. I am proud to support the ISCORE ISCORE office and program within the Division of Student Affairs. This conference is critical in supporting the Iowa State mission to enhance and cultivate the ISU experience where faculty, staff, for joining us for the and visitors are safe and feel welcome, supported, included, and valued by the university and each other. The Division of Student Affairs is committed to creating a place where all of us feel a sense of belonging and are respected by others. Just a few years ago, we transformed the ISCORE from an annual conference to a permanent department within our division. I have the pleasure to directly support the work of the office staff led by Japana Kellogg. This staff are leaders in campus conversations around diversity, equity, and inclusion. This annual conference serves as a time for all of us to reflect, learn, and prepare how we can individually and collectively help our students together in the Memorial Union Great Hall today. I am confident that this virtual space will provide us a unique platform to grow and learn from each other. ISCORE is exceptional and treasured by our community. This is the only campus-wide conference at Iowa State and the premier space to learn from our students, staff, and campus partners about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like many of you, this is my first ISCORE conference. To be honest, I don't know what lies ahead for me in the next 3 days. But even before I came to campus in August, I heard this conference can be life-changing and eye-opening. I hope you are as excited as I am to venture on this journey to create positive and groundbreaking change within ourselves and our community. I would like to thank the ISCORE ISCORE staff for organizing and hosting a successful conference. It takes great leadership to reach across our campus community each year and continue the momentum and respect ISCORE has for the past 21 years. I have the pleasure of seeing the inner workings of the project and know how dedicated the staff is to start and continue conversations about race and ethnicity at Iowa State in new and creative ways. In addition to the full-time staff, ISCORE also welcomes committee volunteers to support the annual conference. These behind-the-scenes staff members are dedicated to the success of the conference and offer skills and expertise to make sure it goes off seamlessly. Thank you to the many ISCORE volunteers. We are grateful for your time and service to this initiative. Finally, 2 Iowa State colleges are selected each year to serve as primary ISCORE ISCORE champions to improve integration and opportunity across the university community. The 2021 ISCORE ISCORE champions are the College of Engineering and the College of Design. You will hear from Dean Easterling of the College of Engineering and Dean Gutierrez of the College of Design throughout the conference. Each ISCORE ISCORE champion will be featured in both the local conference program and on the ISCORE website. ISCORE ISCORE champions are asked to share college achievements for the year in the forms of photos, artwork, and other representations. Thank you again for prioritizing your attendance at ISCORE. Your commitment to conversations about race and ethnicity will enhance the Iowa State experience for our students both now and in the future. Have a great conference. ISCORE champion will be featured in both the local conference program and on the ISCORE website. INCORE ISCORE champions are asked to share college achievements for the year in the forms of photos, artwork, and other representations. Thank you again for prioritizing your attendance at ISCORE. Your commitment to conversations about race and ethnicity will enhance the Iowa State experience for our students both now and in the future. Have a great conference.
Aspires to be the best land-grant institution at creating a welcoming and inclusive environment where diverse individuals can succeed and thrive. As a land-grant institution, we are committed to the caretaking of this land and would like to begin this admit by recognizing those who have taken care of this land before us. Before this land became Iowa State University, it was the ancestral lands and territories of the Bakotse or Iowa Nation. The United States obtained this land from the Meskwaki and Sauk nations in the Treaty of 1842. We would like to recognize our obligations to this land, the people who have taken care of it before us, and to the 17,000 Native people living in Iowa today.
Hello, my name is Japana Kellogg, and I provide leadership for the ISCORE ISCORE office. It brings me great joy to provide the opening remarks for this year's conference. I like to use 3 words: progress, opportunity, and wow. I've been with the project from the beginning, way back in 1999, when I first met that first group of faculty, staff, and students down in Memphis, Tennessee, at the National Conference on Race and Ethnicity. At that time, I wasn't a member of the Iowa State community, and honestly, I can't tell you that I was trying to become a member. I'm originally from Galveston, Texas, and the only thing I knew about Iowa and Iowa State is when I would drive from Minnesota that we drove right past it. The thing I do remember is how well the students were prepared who attended the national conference, how many people Iowa State supported attending the national conference, and more importantly, what you plan to do with the information once you return to your campus. And the product was ISCORE. I'd like to recap a couple points. When I think about 2020, this past year, I can only say, wow. I feel each of us could fill in the blanks in regard to how the political climate, the social unrest, and the social isolation due to the pandemic has impacted us. It really feels like a Netflix movie. Did I say way back in 1999? As a younger man, when someone older would start a conversation with way back when, it gave me permission to turn off my ears. After ISCORE last spring, we continued to meet with our ISCORE scholars to provide them a sense of community and to gain insight on how COVID was impacting them. I remember telling them that one day they will tell their story about the college experience and the pandemic to a group of young people, and those young people won't be quite as interested as they are in telling their story. I really look forward to the day that we can put this pandemic behind us. When I look at the project, as I said, I see progress and opportunity. And it's probably because of my time spent with the project and my commitment. I hope that you can see this project and Iowa State for its progress and opportunity. And if you can't see the progress, you must be looking at the opportunity to help with the progress. This project has become a vital platform for Iowa State to develop on its journey. And I want to thank you for your commitment. At this time, I would like your help in welcoming our newest member to the Iowa State community, Senior Vice President, Dr. Toya Younger, to the stage. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us for the 2021 Thomas L. Hill Iowa State Conference on Race and Ethnicity, Faculty and Staff Pre-Conference. My name is Dr. Toya Younger, and I serve as a Senior Vice President for Student Affairs here at Iowa State University. I am proud to support the ISCORE ISCORE office and program within the Division of Student Affairs. This conference is critical in supporting the Iowa State mission to enhance and cultivate the ISU experience where faculty, staff, students, and visitors are safe and feel welcomed, supported, included, and valued by the university and each other. The Division of Student Affairs is committed to creating a place where all of us feel a sense of belonging and are respected by others. Just a few years ago, we transformed the ISCORE from an annual conference to a permanent department within our division. I have the pleasure to directly support the work of the office staff led by Japana Kellogg. His staff are leaders in campus conversations around diversity, equity, and inclusion. This annual conference serves as a time for all of us to reflect, learn, and prepare how we can individually and collectively help our students and community thrive. While we aren't together in the Memorial Union Great Hall today, I am confident that this virtual space will provide us a unique platform to grow and learn from each other. ISCORE is exceptional and treasured by our community. This is the only campus-wide conference at Iowa State and the premier space to learn from our students, staff, and campus partners about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like many of you, this is my first ISCORE conference. To be honest, I don't know what lies ahead for me in the next 3 days. But even before I came to campus in August, I heard this conference can be life-changing and eye-opening. I hope you are as excited as I am to venture on this journey to create positive and groundbreaking change within ourselves and our community. I would like to thank the INCORE ISCORE staff for organizing and hosting a successful conference. It takes great leadership to reach across our campus community each year and continue the momentum and respect ISCORE has for the past 21 years. I have the pleasure of seeing the inner workings of the project and know how dedicated the staff is to start and continue conversations about race and ethnicity at Iowa State in new and creative ways. In addition to the full-time staff, ISCORE also welcomes committee volunteers to support the annual conference. These behind-the-scenes staff members are dedicated to the success of the conference and offer skills and expertise to make sure it goes off seamlessly. Thank you to the many ISCORE volunteers. We are grateful for your time and service to this initiative. Finally, 2 Iowa State colleges are selected each year to serve as primary INCORE ISCORE champions to improve integration and opportunity across the university community. The 2021 INCORE ISCORE champions are the College of Engineering and the College of Design. You will hear from Dean Easterling of the College of Engineering and Dean Gutierrez of the College of Design throughout the conference. Each INCORE ISCORE champion will be featured in both the local conference program and on the ISCORE website. INCORE ISCORE champions are asked to share college achievements for the year in the forms of photos, artwork, and other representations. Thank you again for prioritizing your attendance at ISCORE. Your commitment to conversations about race and ethnicity will enhance the Iowa State experience for our students both now and in the future. Have a great conference.
Hill Iowa State Conference on Race and Ethnicity. Once again, the College of Engineering is proud to partner with ISCORE to support this conference in order to create, share, and apply knowledge. The College of Engineering has long recognized the inherent value of a diverse community, varied backgrounds, and life experiences, and the new ideas and unique perspectives they bring. These perspectives are critical when creating solutions to the world's greatest challenges. Our college has a commitment to enhance the diversity of its community and promote an inclusive environment for all its students, faculty, and staff. Iowa State University is more than simply a set of buildings and books. It's a collective made up of each faculty and staff member, student, administrator, alum, and industry partner who takes part in our educational process. And it's the unique background and perspective brought by each of these participants that raises the ceiling of success for our programs. In the College of Engineering, our graduates enter the workforce each year eager to tackle some of the world's greatest challenges and lead us to a cleaner, healthier, safer, and more sustainable planet. These monumental tasks require a different approach, founded in unique and innovative concepts. Solutions are not born of stagnant ideas. They are discovered by looking at the problems from different vantage points. Diversity of thought and opinion is the cornerstone of progress in our society, on our campus, and in our classrooms and research labs. When we limit or discount that diversity, our community suffers. In January, the College of Engineering was recognized by the American Society for Engineering Education for our commitment to diversity. We were given their highest honor, placing us among the nation's leaders in inclusive excellence. I could not be more proud of our college in receiving this honor, as it recognizes the significant and measurable progress in increasing diversity, inclusion, and degree attainment in our programs. But while we're proud of our accomplishments, there is still much to be done. And I'd like to take this opportunity to applaud each of you attending this year's virtual conference. Whether this is your first time or if you're a longtime advocate of our diversity and inclusion measures, every one of you is important to the future of Iowa State. Every effort, no matter how widespread or laser focused it is critical to the Iowa State University mission. The College of Engineering is proud to partner with ISCORE to support this conference and to advance the mission of equity in our campus community and beyond. On behalf of the college and the ISCORE Planning Committee, I thank you for the opportunity to share these thoughts, and I hope you have a great conference.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-conference of Iowa State Conference on Race and Ethnicity. I am Joelle Mitchell, and I serve as the Assistant Director of the ISCORE office. I'm going to have all of our Professional Development Academy panelists join me and turn their videos on. But we want to welcome you to the opening session, and thank you for doing a rewind of our opening speakers this morning. We appreciate your grace as we work out the bugs of our first ever ISCORE virtual conference. And so we thank you for your graciousness. So welcome to the opening session. Today you will hear from members of the current and past Professional Development Academy as they share their experiences participating within the ISCORE project and how their involvement has influenced their professional and personal commitment to anti-racism. So I'm going to now turn it over to our current Professional Development Academy facilitators, Natasha Green, Jordan Brooks, and Cody Henke.
Thank you so much, Joelle, and good morning, everyone. It's my privilege to start off our Professional Development Academy panel session. My name is Natasha Green. I use she, her, hers English pronouns, and I am the Engagement and Inclusion Officer for ISU Police. And actually, I get to start off by introducing you to two of my favorite people here at Iowa State. Carmen and Audrey are going to introduce themselves in a second, but we wanted you to get to hear about the history of the project from the folks who did the work. And so without them, this project wouldn't be possible, and many of us have benefited from their labor and time on this. So Carmen and Audrey, I'm going to let you introduce yourselves and give us a little history on how the Professional Development Academy came to be.
Hi, I'm Carmen Flagg. I use she, her pronouns, and I am in the College of Human Sciences as the Director of Multicultural Student Success.
Good morning. My name is Audrey Kinnis. I am the Student Retention Coordinator at the College of Ag and Life Sciences, and I too use she pronouns.
So before we go any further, we would like to start with giving you some background information on how the Professional Development Academy was started. I'll actually give the credit to Audrey, who came to Iowa State. We were both working in the Office of Admissions at the time, and Audrey said, well, I hear about this project for the students. but what about like the staff? Like, we need development as well in this area. So our director at the time agreed to send a small group of us to go as professionals to really work on our own professional development around race and ethnicity in higher education. And that was in 2013. And that small but lucky group of folks was Audrey Kinnis, myself, Roberta Johnson, who is the director of financial aid, student financial aid, Ann Westman, who is also with student financial aid, and Judy Minnick, who at the time was in the registrar's office. So when we returned from ISCORE, we met monthly. We also had the opportunity to do book club. While we were at the ISCORE conference, we met daily as well, similar to the students, to choose our sessions and to debrief what we were learning. So I'll let Audrey share a little bit more.
Awesome. Thank you, Carmen. So in the fall of 2014, we moved to formalize this initiative and develop a professional development academy. We invited others, as Carmen mentioned, colleagues, but also other departments to really make this an institutionalized effort. We invited the Department of Residence, the College of Engineering, the College of Design, and the Provost Office. When we returned to campus, we looked at ways to implement what we learned. And from that came today's ISCORE pre-conference. I will say it is a great pleasure to see this critical and necessary work continue. And I want to personally thank the committee and the office for continuing these conversations and making this a campus-wide initiative, because this would not be able to be done without the folks committing to do the work. With that, I would say thank you, and I'll turn it back over to our committee.
Thank you so much, both of you. Obviously, this has been a year of so many firsts, and that's been true for the PDA as well. So giving you a little context of how this year's cohort has gotten to navigate things in the midst of a pandemic. As Carmen and Audrey stated, typically we do some work with any faculty or staff member at Iowa State. So this is open to anyone. We're always recruiting. Any faculty or staff member at Iowa State can apply to participate in the cohort. And then typically we do some foundational work before we go to the National Conference on Race and Ethnicity. And then when we come back in the fall, we meet together monthly on continuing education and to make sure that we're really implementing what we're learning into action at ISU. And this cohort has been so flexible and adaptable. So instead, they got to start with Cody, Jordan, and I this fall, and we've been meeting monthly, and then they'll get to participate in ISCORE virtually this year together as a cohort. So they've done things in reverse of most cohorts, but they've definitely still, I think you'll hear, learned lots. And just so you know, before we start off the panel today, we've got representation from many different years of professional development groups. So you'll hear from folks that have done it back in the historical beginnings, like Carmen and Audrey told us, all the way up to we've got 2 representatives from our cohort this year. With that, I'll turn it over to Cody and Jordan.
Awesome. So we would like to go ahead and take the time to introduce ourselves and as well as our panelists who are joining us. And so to begin, my name is Jordan Brooks, pronouns he, him, his, and I'm the Director of Multicultural Student Success over in the College of Design. And it's been my pleasure to be one of the co-facilitators for the PDA so far this year.
I'm Cody Hankey, he, him, his, gender pronouns. Also work with Natasha and Jordan as a PDA facilitator this year. I work within the Office of Student Assistance in the Dean of Students Office.
Hi, I'm Carmen Jones. I am a PhD candidate in the School of Education.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carrie Jacobs. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I currently serve as the Assistant Chief for Iowa State University Police.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Carrie Geis, and I use pronouns she, her, hers, and I work within the Office of Student Wellness.
Brady, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sorry, I was supposed to go earlier. My name is Brady Hubbard. I work for the Department of Residence, and my pronouns are he, him, his.
And then our current leads, James, if you could start us.
Good morning, everyone. My name is James Wright, and I'm a he and him, and I'm a faculty member in the Department of Ag and Biosystems Engineering. Delighted to be here.
Hi, my name is Deanna Gerber. I use the pronouns she, her, hers, and I'm the coordinator of recruitment at the College of Veterinary Medicine.
Well, now you have a chance to learn a little bit more about the panelists and their experience throughout the PDA. And so as Natasha mentioned, we have panelists that have been connected to the project for many years now. And we're going to start off with some folks that have been connected the longest. And so I have a question for Audrey, Carmen Flagg, as well as Brady. And as I was thinking back on my ISCORE experience, I think my first time was with all of you in San Francisco. And I had to look back at the program because it was so long ago. It was 2016. So it is just amazing to think how time flies, but also how withstanding this project is and influential it is. And so my question to start off is, can you share a little bit about how your experience with ISCORE as well as with the PDA, either as a facilitator or a participant, has influenced your personal and professional life? And Carmen, if you could start us off.
Wow. So I've been with the project for a while, since the beginning as a planning committee member, 1999. But I'll say specifically with the PDA, I think one thing that has been really awesome is seeing that as professionals, we still have a lot of growth of our own. And personally, it has helped me to learn that the personal and the professional are like this. That you don't bring part of yourself to work. You don't just bring your professional self to work, but you bring really your whole self, your personal self as well. And the opportunity for us to connect with our colleagues and to hear more stories about how they grew up, what influences the way that they think and believe, and what type of experiences they had, has really enhanced my professional life and my personal life. I've gained more friends and more allies across campus, and I've learned a lot, and I've learned that I have a lot more to learn.
Thank you, Carmen. Now I'll just jump in and answer as well. So, again, I started in 2013, as Carmen had shared as well. And so we had the great pleasure of kind of staying with this process for quite a few years. And I kind of concluded my tenure in 2017. But one thing I've learned is this is a continuous journey. So again, going to echo that, Carmen. I think sometimes people come into the space thinking you're going to learn all this information and then you've arrived or you're woke, right? But this is always developing, evolving. And so we have to be committed to the journey, but also to the learning. And so that is so critical. We don't just go through this and think that it's done, or I've kind of checked off a box, but it's an ongoing process, as well as developing strong relationships with friends and colleagues across campus. I've developed, and I would say this project in particular has helped me to gain access and exposure to folks I would probably never have a chance to connect with, who have become very close friends, who are folks I can call if I have a question or a need or a concern. And so it's creating proximity, which I think is so critical, that we are able to work with each other and start to see each other in different capacities. And then I would say the last thing really that I would say I've been able to kind of take away from this experience is finding new ways to connect theory to praxis. And so I think this project in particular, I'm going to say myself and Carmen, we're not superhumans in any way or capacity. We are just like everyone else that is on this call today. Everyone has the ability to be able to transform our campus. And it's, I think, recognizing that we all can contribute to the climate of this university. We all do, even if we don't think we do. And so it's really deciding on how we're going to contribute. Are we going to make it a better place? Are we going to be complacent and just let it be what it is? Or again, are we going to be one of the roadblocks that prevent us from being able to make that forward-moving progress? So again, it's ongoing, but it's been a tremendous pleasure and opportunity.
And I'll follow up with similar things I think that both Audrey and Carmen have said. One of the best things for me is it was my first year on campus that I got to do my first professional development academy, and meeting the colleagues I did and the people that became friends. It is really a thing when I have a question or a concern or want to process something, I have a new network of people that I still use 5 years later. And then I'm also getting to interact with them socially and have a lot of benefit from that as well. So that was super beneficial and has impacted me for my continued time here. In my work, I think as Carmen said, my personal life and my professional life are very similar, that you can't separate them at all. And I've seen both my professional and personal lives change post-INCORE, realizing that it wasn't enough to acknowledge my privilege and to not be racist. I needed to actively be combating racism, and I needed to be understanding that the way I view things isn't just the way Brady view things, it's through my lens of whiteness. I think we default, frequently as white people, default to thinking white is just the baseline, and that's an inaccurate way to think. And when you start to unpack that, why did I think that way? And then how does it impact everything I do? I think it allows me to much better support all of my students, understanding what students of color might be going through and additional hurdles at Iowa State on a campus that isn't always inviting and inclusive of them, better supporting my staff members as well, and then challenging my staff members, especially my white staff members, of what are you doing on your floors to create environments that are acknowledging of all people and supporting of all people on your floor so that we can have the success in communities that we're desiring.
Thank you so much, you all, for your reflections. I really appreciate what you all shared. And it's making me think about even myself. I feel like my interests are like, I started working at Iowa State maybe 2 years ago now. And I think my actual onboarding to Iowa State was actually through the PDA group as a member. And so I want to invite our folks who are like a year or two out, right, a couple of years out from their actual PDA experience to be able to share. But specifically, what I'd like to hear from you all about is how's your time and work in the PDA impacted your department's growth? I think a big part of PDA is not just what happens with you, but what happens when you enter back into your workspace. So if you all, and we'll start with Carmen, if you could speak to how your experience in the PDA has impacted your department's growth, your learning trajectory, colleagues, or just the people, again, who are in your circle.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Jordan. So, and I didn't say before, my apologies, my pronouns are she, her, hers. But I believe the biggest impact my experience has had on my department is in the interactions that I have with my students. In the past few years, I've been able to teach or co-teach a seminar course for first year and second year students. And some of the curricula are centered around conversations on students' identity, as well as equity, diversity, as well as inclusion. And we have different conversations on topics surrounding social justice. So we discuss racism, we talk about oppression, we discuss white supremacy. And in the time that I've spent in the academy, it's really helped me in my delivery of these conversations. So talking with students about these topics, because I think it's something that they need to talk about. I don't think students are always in spaces where they discuss these topics or feel comfortable discussing these topics. And I don't think it's healthy to shield them or keep them from these conversations. So we have to discuss, what is happening around us, what is going on in the world, discuss their experiences, and just let them know how important it is to have these conversations. I want the students that I work with to know that I'm okay with them challenging me as we discuss all of these different topics, and I encourage them to speak freely on any ideas that they may not agree with. And that's because it's important that they don't shy away from these conversations, and it's important that they're vocal. I don't want them going into their careers not having had these conversations because I believe it's important for their development. It's important for their growth and definitely for their well-being to have the, quote unquote, hard conversations. And my assumption is that my colleagues and those within my department appreciate that these conversations are happening.
I would definitely have to kind of reflect a little bit as well on some of the things that Carmen just said as it relates to not only my own personal journey, but as it's affected both my duties here at ISU Police as well as the department as a whole. Would first and foremost have to start off with when I think about what I am responsible for as an individual, as an assistant chief and a member of leadership with ISU Police. And that is when I think about looking at the policies and our training, how has my knowledge that I've gained through my last couple of years through this experience, what can I do to add that into policy? So instead of just assuming, oh, okay, this is a great policy, everything looks terrific, surely this is going to be the best thing to serve all members of our communities. And the truth is, I've been able to stop, take a look, and determine, is what's written down, is this really truly serving all members of our community? And if it's not, what can we do to kind of adjust that? The same is true when we think about our training as well as just our general response for calls for service to our community. What is that looking like? And one of the best ways for us to really open that up is to start having those conversations. And it was never something that was easy for me to start off with because I understood that I was coming from my own lack of knowledge on the subject as well as my own fear, because I think it's really important to acknowledge the fact that I didn't want to come into a group of individuals and say, okay, here we need to start talking about white privilege and how our experiences may be adversely impacting our community members. That is a really tough conversation, but those conversations needed to be had. And one thing I learned is that the more we started having those conversations, the more our officers and other staff members were starting to come back to those of us who had already been through PDA and who had been attending ISCORE and ISCORE and asking us questions of, you know, I really had some time to think about what you said the other day. I have some questions. Can we talk more about this? Can we have more training on this subject? Because the officers were starting to realize that, you know what, maybe we were not giving the best service possible, or maybe we did make some mistakes along the way. So being able to hear that back is probably one of the most significant impacts that I've had, not only personally, but as a department as a whole. But our work is far from done. There's a lot we still need to do in order to, you know, as Audrey mentioned, the work is never done, and it will never be done here within our agency or our department. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's actually a good thing, because we need to always continue to strive to do better every single day. And another amazing impact that I believe that has affected our agency is the fact that in order for you to really, truly make a significant cultural change within your department or your organization, and that is making sure those at the top support that role. And I'm very proud to say our chief of police here was a member of the PDA Academy in 2019. And being able to say that we have strong leadership helps us move forward and to also carry that mission and vision of ISCORE, ISCORE, and to also encourage others within our agency. And each year we've had the opportunity, Natasha, you'll have to check on me, but I think at least since 2016, we have been active members of ISCORE, ISCORE. And I know, Natasha, you've been active prior to your employment here at ISU Police, but the fact that we're continuing that tradition kind of really shows the impact, and we hope to carry it on through as well.
I would reference my experience with the PDA as a gift. It was a really wonderful experience. One of my first NCOREs was about 20 years ago, so it was wonderful to be able to reconnect. How that transferred into the department, I think, is a sense of renewal, a sense of connection, a sense of fuel, of addressing health disparities, health inequities, especially during this year with the health disparities and health inequities just being highlighted at such a incredible level. So it really provided a platform of coming into it with renewed strength and renewed community around addressing those issues, as well as gave us the opportunity to have really hard conversations on a sustainable basis of how are we addressing this work? How are we doing our own individual work? As several of the panelists have stated, our personal and our professional identities are so interwoven, it gave us the platform to be able to have those tough conversations while doing our own individual work and system level work of addressing social justice issues within holistic health.
Thank you so much. It's not hard to see how this program has been so successful with the foundations and the year after year folks that contribute tremendous things to our campus. Now these are kind of where we get to hear from our current cohort. We've already heard so many ways in which this is impactful, but also a really hard process. And you two got to do all of that and participating in the academy through Zoom, which takes a lot of, being present takes a lot of vulnerability, and it takes authenticity and being with each other, building that trust. So I'd love to hear from both of you on how you did that while connecting virtually. Deanna, if you want to start us off.
Sure. So I think in my role, I do connect with students virtually even before the pandemic. So I think the platform wasn't as much of a, hurdle for me as I know it is for some folks. And so it really came down to our leadership. So I do want to, shout out Natasha and Cody and Jordan. They really created a safe space for us to be vulnerable and to kind of practice, all of those things that we're learning. We had some really, really great conversations in breakout rooms as well. So I think that, we did what we could to utilize that. And I really appreciate that, even though we were virtual, we still felt heard and we still felt respected wherever we were at on kind of our journey. And I know it's easy to see the temptation, the notifications come across the screen about all the emails. But I think our cohort really, I felt like we were all present. We showed up, we ignored our, emails for those, couple of hours and really created a community, even though there was a screen, in between us. So it was great. It was a great experience, even virtually.
James, I'd love to hear from you as well if you're able to unmute.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Natasha. This has been a great platform to not only learn, but listen and hear different perspectives. And the perspectives are all real world, real time. It's not all just history. I currently chair the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion committee in my department. And these are things that I can take back and they're relevant and share with our group. I think at the end of the day, it all boils down to that if we treat people the way we want to be treated, it's hard to get it wrong. Irregardless of what they do and how they react and how they respond. We don't have so much control over that in many cases, but we do have control over how we respond, how we educate ourselves, how we influence our circles of influence, and how we touch all of those things that we're a part of. So this has been a great cohort for that, to exchange ideas, share thoughts, be vulnerable, and mostly learn through listening. Because all of our experiences aren't the same. Different backgrounds, different experiences, different relationships, positive and negative. Many times you can have good things going on in your life at the same time you have things that are not so good. So we're multitasking all the time, not just with work, home, family, and life, and somehow thread the needle of the issues that are important to our society. And here at Iowa State, we have to remind ourselves that we're a sampling, a microcosm of the larger society. The larger society hadn't necessarily figured out the answer to all these questions either. But I'll wrap up by saying this. If there ever was a place for us to meet these challenges and rise to the occasion, it would be in an institution of higher education and learning. And so I'm just delighted to be here and be a part of this group. Thanks.
Thank you all so much for sharing your perspective and experience. And how this experience has and continues to influence our personal and professional lives, and that they're merged. It isn't separate. It isn't something that you're able to separate. And so really appreciate your perspectives. I have a question to throw out to the panelists for someone that might feel comfortable. So we've talked a lot about how the experience is pretty individual, of how it impacts us and what we've taken away and how we've brought it back to campus. But for those that haven't maybe heard of NCORE before or had the opportunity to attend, I'm wondering if someone feels comfortable maybe painting that picture a little bit of what is attending NCORE like, and specifically around kind of that commitment with the PDA, the debriefing periods, kind of what does that look like? Is there someone that is comfortable kind of painting that picture of what an NCORE looks like and maybe what your experience was?
I would be happy to. The word that comes to mind is community. There's a palpable sense of connection, shared vision, unity. It's like coming home, but you haven't been there before. It's really an amazing, compassionate experience that challenges you emotionally, challenges you intellectually, but you feel supported. This is just my own, I'm projecting my own experience out on everyone, but I just felt like I had that support to be vulnerable, but yet that challenge to engage and acknowledge my own privilege. So it was life-changing. Sounds grandiose, but this is one of the few experiences that I think that it really resonates with.
I will echo that with saying that when asked this question, the first word I thought of is an oasis. So the nice thing is the conference is usually held in a densely diverse populated city, which gives you the opportunity not only to experience the conference, but also to experience the diversity of the location that we're in. So whether that's going out and tasting different types of food or just being able to interact with a lot of different multicultural communities. But also, I think at the conference, because it is a conference for folks who are in higher education, you have a lot of people of color who attend this conference, white folks as well, but like Carrie said, that shared vision, right? So we're there to all learn and focus on the same topic for these like 5 or 6 days. There's entertainment, there's slam poetry, there is a talent show, there is like a dance. There are lots of keynotes in the daytime, but then also keynotes in the evening, caucuses, opportunity to come together with different groups throughout your time at the conference. There are tons of vendors. So you have the opportunity to buy clothing that maybe more represents your ethnic background that you don't always have, you know, in your particular location. But it really is a true celebration of understanding race and ethnicity in higher education, and really supporting that. It is even though it is challenging content, for whomever you are, there is this undercurrent of consistent support, just in every way that the program is set up. I love it. It's an amazing experience, and no matter how many times you go, it always feels new and different every single time.
Thank you all so much. Anyone else want to jump in? I just don't want to cut anyone off. So my last question for the group is, you know, for attendees that are watching right now and hearing your experience and hearing what it's like to be a part of the PDA, I'm wondering, what advice would you give for someone that maybe is considering applying for the PDA or participating? What advice would you give to them if they're kind of maybe on the fence or unsure of this opportunity? What would you share as advice for them?
I'll go. I'm just speaking from the perspective of a grad student. I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn by saying if grad students can apply or if, I don't know, maybe they can, maybe they can't. But we as grad students, and I feel like we aren't always offered spaces to discuss social justice. We aren't always offered spaces where we can just have an open and honest conversation about how we feel, about our experiences, and just about things that may happen in the world and things that may happen on campus. And I think this is a great space for that. I've been able to meet a lot of great people through this event, through the PDA. It's been really awesome, but I really appreciate being able to, have my voice heard as a Black woman, as a graduate student, and being able to be very vocal. I can be myself, I can speak openly, no one's judging me. And that's what I appreciate more than anything. And so being able to have a space to do that at ISCORE and at INCORE, I'm very appreciative of that. So if you want to, have a place where you can be loud, you can be vocal and just be free to say what's on your mind, I think that's the place, this is the place for you. So thank you to the PDA for even having me.
I would echo that as someone who's kind of beginning her journey and kind of finding my voice about, speaking out against injustices. I think the PDA offers both that, that opportunity to be loud, but also to listen and to learn a lot. So I guess my advice would be to do it, especially if you have, some support behind you. I know my department and my college were really huge supporters of me being involved in this. So definitely do it.
I would echo that and just share it's good for your spirit. Like, it's just really good for your spirit, no matter where you're at in your own individual process. It's a gift. It's a gift. So do it.
I would absolutely agree with Carrie. I just want to make sure that understand it may feel like, gosh, that's a whole year-long commitment. But let me tell you, the PDA it's a wonderful complement to the conference. And yes, it is a lot of work, but let me tell you, every step of the way, it's worth it. You'll be surrounded by a great group of individuals who are going to be there to be coaches, to be mentors for you. They're going to take this journey with you. And all I can say is that I absolutely have no regrets, and I look forward to my own continuing journey as I continue to navigate this process, educate myself, and just bring everybody else along with me that I can.
I would add to that, to everything that's been said. I look at it as it's a great investment, a chance, an opportunity to invest in yourself, invest in your outlook, expand yourself, be exposed to different ideas that maybe don't always mirror or parallel your own. That's what growth is. But as much as anything, a chance to collaborate and interact with people that are pursuing the same thing that you are. That's more enlightenment, more information, more knowledge about how we can best navigate. I think Carrie said it, navigate our own journey. Our journeys are not the same, and not that they should be, but within the circles of the things that we do, the circles of our influence, this is great information to take with us to prepare for the different situations that we'll experience. We have our own experience, what we've already experienced, but this, I think, empowers us to go forward with information and knowledge. And as the saying goes, when you know better, you tend to do better.
Well, thank you all so much for sharing your perspective, the vulnerability you showed. It kind of felt like a little family reunion here because I've gone to ISCORE a few times and I know others have too. And so you're with different people at different times, and but it always feels like you're coming home. And so it's been really great to spend this time with all of you. Thank you to Japana and Joelle for creating this space on this day that's intended for faculty and staff. This is perfect, and hopefully kind of sparks that desire and interest for others to get involved. And thank you to the attendees watching right now. Thank you for joining us, learning a little bit more about the PDA and how you can become involved. If you do have additional questions, feel free to check out information on the PDA on the ISCORE website or reach out. I think as we've all expressed, we definitely recommend getting involved in this project and would be happy to speak with you more. So we want to thank you once again for being with us. Welcome to ISCORE. Enjoy the next few days and happy learning. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. We really appreciate your time and the commitment that you gave to the project when you were participating, and those of you who are continued with your leadership to help others along their journey and continued journey as well. So we thank you and we appreciate you. We're going to be moving into our next part of the pre-conference is our self-care session, or you could take a break and grab some lunch as well while you participate. But we felt like it was really critical that we provided the space for attendees and presenters to be able to have a space to come and be able to digest what they're going to be learning, learn different tips or strategies around different topics of how they can digest what they're going to be learning, or just in general life, how you can utilize the ability to provide resources around self-care. And so we've provided 2 opportunities throughout this week for all of the attendees to engage in. And so we really hope that you engage in those. The facilitators and the co-facilitators have worked really hard to provide you with a great activity around the various topics that you see on the agenda with self-care. And so please join them. They will be the same presentations or sessions on Thursday. So if you didn't get to one today and you're like, oh, I really wanted to go to that one, you have an opportunity to do it tomorrow. And so we welcome you to change it up a little bit. Or if you loved the first one and you want to do it again, go for it. We would appreciate that too. So we're going to give you some time to transition into those self-care meetings or take a break to get yourself ready for those. And we'll see you there.